My name's Genevieve Robinson. I'm 23 years old, and I'm a stand-up comedian from Regina. I also write sketch, and I'm an improviser. I got into comedy because people would tell me that I was funny, but that's kind of like a base compliment that people give everyone. So I really liked telling jokes and making people laugh. I was at an improv camp one year, and they had a talent show, and I threw together a quick 5-minute set and then performed it, and people liked it, and I did it again, so I've kind of been doing it ever since. So I think it's kind of, I don't know if you caught on to this, but the main theme, I think, is death for most of my comedy. I'm just kidding. I tend to make jokes about things I've experienced or just kind of funny moments in my life. Sometimes I just think when you have something in your life that happens, there's always going to be something funny about it, usually. So for me, I was really sad as a teenager. So I think for some reason, I don't know why, but sadness comes out in comedy. But it's nice because I don't want to make people cry. I want to make people laugh. And it might be not the most fun subject, but if I can get someone to laugh at maybe a depressing thing, I think that's the goal, because I think there's humor in everything.
So I have a quick question, you guys. What is the best time to tell someone you're seeing that your dad is dead? What are we thinking? Like 2, 3 dates? Do I just never tell them, and act as if my dad is some sort of dog, just living upstate, running around, chasing all the birds and squirrels. And he lives forever. And then one day you go in your backyard and you're like, whoa, is something buried here? That's so weird. But that's the thing. I'm really trying to figure it out. Because do I wait till a family dinner, where there's just one chair that's very visibly empty? Or do I wait longer, Make it more casual. Driving by the graveyard on a Assiniboine. There's my dad, Or do I wait even longer? Do I wait to the last possible moment? The father-daughter dance on my wedding day, So I could have a whole ghost moment. I've never seen the movie, but I believe it's about a daughter and her dead dad, right? And these are the things you have to think about, you guys. You don't realize how often this stuff comes up. On the first date I ever went on with a guy, it came up. He was super nice. He turned out to be a dick later, but he was a really good actor. So I was proud of him for that. And the thing is, he wanted to walk me to my door after the date. Aw, sweet, right? So I told him, I don't really think I want to do that. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want you to meet my mom and everything. And he looked at me and he was like, don't worry. I am great with dads. I was like, oh, you don't need to worry about that. I felt so bad because he was so confident. So I just slapped a mustache on my mom and threw her outside. He was like, oh, so your name's Irene? It's very interesting. I didn't know that was a unisex name. But eventually, when the mustache fell off, I had to tell him. I had to come clean. And he looked at me and he goes, what everyone says, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I was just kind of like, why? Did you kill him? I thought cancer did it. I didn't know it was your ass. Could you imagine? I've been wearing this fucking pin for months, this stupid ribbon.
The jokes that I did today, one of my more memorable ones is what I call the dead dad bit. It talks about my father passed away when I was 11. And obviously, it's not a happy topic, but I did find when I started dating or when I started meeting guys, they would always ask or talk about meeting my parents or meeting my dad, saying I'm great with dads. So it was actually a true story. When I was on my first date, the guy was trying to like go in to meet my parents, and he thought he was gonna meet my dad, and I just kind of had to break the news to him. And it's an awkward situation, but it's still somehow funny because everyone reacts kind of the same way. They don't know how to handle it, and they kind of treat you with kid gloves because they think you're gonna burst out crying for some reason. But it's like I'm telling these jokes, like I'm clearly okay. I've clearly, I've accepted what has gone on. But yeah, that's one of my more, that's one of the bits I really like because I think it stands out for obvious reasons.
So, anyone been to Olive Garden recently? Woo! Yeah? Everyone else hates Olive Garden. I love Olive Garden. It's great. I had 2 bowls of their soup, and I loved it. So when the waitress came by, she asked, like, how's everything tasting? And I told her, I was like, oh, it's great. Could I have another bowl? And she looked at me and she goes, oh my goodness. Okay. What the fuck? Did I just get fat shamed at an Olive Garden? The all-you-can-eat place, like, you thrive on people like me. They could give me, like, saltine crackers, and I would be, like, down in that shit. Be like, keep them coming, George. I got it. I couldn't believe, like, I thought that was so rude. I never want to go back there again, you know? Like, I just feel like that waitress kind of was like a cunt. Oh, sorry, I forgot to ask. How do we feel about the word cunt? Can I get a poll? Yeah? It's okay? We like cunt? We like cunts? Okay. Well, I guess I said it anyway, so you gotta just like it now. And I went through another kind of big change recently. I quit my job. Yeah. Yay, broke. And what I did, before, when I was working at my job, my mom, I love my mom, right? But she does this thing where you know how parents brag about their kids, right? Like, oh, little Timmy is going to Harvard. You know, Sarah just bought a home. George hasn't killed anyone in 2 days. You know, stuff like you'd be proud of, motherly things. My mom doesn't do that. She does the opposite, in fact. So she likes to tell strangers the problems that we have. But in a loving way. So we were at Mass a while back, and these 2 old ladies came up and were talking to me, and they asked, how are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm good. I'm actually a support worker for people with intellectual disabilities, right? That sounds good. It's a good job. It's a great job. I feel great about it. I'm giving back, all that. You'd think my mom would be proud of that. My mom interrupts and said, actually, she just got her hours cut, so... I was like, what the fuck? Like, why does Susan need to know my work schedule? And then she just kept going. She was just like, yeah, and you know what? She says cunt a lot. And she eats 3 bowls of soup at Olive Garden. Like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? And I just didn't know what to do, so I was just like, you know what, Mom? Stop being a bitch. I got kicked out of Mass that day. And I think that's how I'm going to end it for you guys tonight. So, thank you.
I really hate all the other stand-up comedians in Regina. No. The stand-up the stand-up comedy scene in Regina is really great. It's really accepting. I've become close friends with a lot of them, and it's really wonderful because you can bounce ideas off, and after you finish a set, you can go and ask them like what they thought, and they'll kind of riff with you, and you'll be able to change bits, see what works, see what doesn't work. But it's just it is a smaller community, but I think it's very supportive. Everyone cares about everyone. Everyone will always try and go to shows if they're there. We always try to, book each other instead of trying to get, like outside names from people from other cities, like give local talent an opportunity and a stage to perform. So, yeah, I'm really lucky to be a part of the community.